Perfect.
All right. So you asked me about happiness, love, and money.
Yes.
And I kind of feel like I'm getting places with all those. Money is a matter of like, I'm just going to give you like superficial stuff on each one. Like real advice, but superficial. So like, what I found with money is a lot of it's just like find out what people want, figure out the gap between what you can offer and what they need and what they're not getting. And fill in that gap and take action in that way. I'm a software engineer, so the way that manifested for me was as an engineer, you develop a lot of skills and whatnot over time, but they're frequently like very specific to what you're doing, and if you like day to day at your job or whatever. And so if you just focus on that, then you can miss moving on to something that's like bigger and better because you just don't quite have that extra little bit that it takes to hit that next level. What I ended up doing is quitting my job and taking a sabbatical for about 4 months, and I studied basically like I found jobs that were really well paying that seemed super interesting where I was like a 60% fit, and then I was like, all right, how do I make myself a 90% fit? And I did that, and totally worth it. I'm still in debt from it, but that's because it was like started paying off about a year ago. So I'm still working on that, but my income went up by about as much money as I went into debt by. So clearly that's like a good return. It's about putting in the extra effort there, I think. Happiness, I feel like I'm pretty good at happiness. But how do you do it practically? Like, the trick to happiness, in my opinion, is to really just own and feel your unhappiness and not fight it. And it will just teach you what you have to do. Like, if you have ever done like meditation or anything like that, they talk about, just kind of sitting with how you feel. And I think that one of the big, powerful things about that is instead of pushing away your negative emotions, you just sort of let yourself really experience them and let them sink in, and you start to understand why you had them and how to recognize them, and then that kind of gives you an idea of what you need to do to be happy. So like for myself, I found like I would put myself in situations where for instance, I had a lot of obligations to people that I really didn't like, but I kind of felt like I had to do it. Something I learned about myself. It'll be different for everybody. And just by letting myself, I guess I was kind of a people pleaser. Everybody has their own thing that makes them unhappy. I kind of think happiness is like just the absence of unhappiness in a lot of ways. You just have things, you don't do the things that bother you, and suddenly you feel good. I feel like I'm rambling right now.
No, you're actually like talking a lot of sense. Keep going, please.
So
I'm like nodding.
Yeah. I'm continuing on my. I don't know. I'm trying to like connect my thought up, I guess. Like where that took me then was realizing that like I had to say no, which was something I was uncomfortable with, and then I had to sit with that discomfort and understand that, and then figure out why I was uncomfortable with that, and then that, unravels issues, and then there are like layers and layers and layers, but I'm at the point now where I feel pretty damn happy, Also having money helps. But I mean, I just spent half an hour laying here in the park, taking a nap with my dog. It was some baller shit. It was amazing. And I think, say 5 years ago, I never would have been relaxed enough to do that because I thought I had to do all this stuff, and I didn't have to do any of it. It was a waste of fucking time, except the discovery of realizing that I didn't have to do it. Yeah.
What is the best day you've ever had?
I don't even know how to answer that. I actually have a really hard time ranking things by like, this is the best of that thing. Like I don't have a favorite movie, I don't have a favorite book, anything like that. It's probably... So I used to work at a startup here. I mean, I do, but I worked at a different startup. And after I'd worked there for about a week, my CEO got together with me, and she was like, the company wasn't doing that great in terms of like product and whatnot. It was just, we were at a very early stage, and we were running out of money and that sort of thing, and I had just come on. And she was like, I need a working demo by Monday. I was like, that's fucking impossible. Can't be done. And but I was like, you know what? Like, screw it. I'm here. Like, I'll try. And that was a Friday, and I worked through all the weekend. And Monday I had something of a working demo. And it was something where I had previously had this idea of myself as like kind of a lazy person. And I wasn't really, but I had that idea of myself. And I totally disproved that idea. Completely. I felt so good about myself because I was like, I killed it, and I kept killing it for a really long time after that. I'm kind of back to being a little lazy now. But I think it's that feeling of like overcoming a previous barrier or a negative identity that you hold to. And once you let something like that go, the relief that you feel is just, incredible.
What is your opinion on sex?
I'm supposed to have a singular opinion on sex? I mean,
What's your philosophy on sex?
My philosophy on sex? I don't know if I have one. This is actually something I'm like actively thinking about right now. Because I definitely used to use women, like getting together with women and hooking up with women and whatnot, as like a way of masking over other problems in my life that were actually making me unhappy. Like, I didn't enjoy sitting at home because my apartment wasn't clean and it felt like crap being there, so I'd go out and like chase girls and like maybe make out with a girl, and then I would feel good. And so I had that paradigm for a long time, and then I actually stopped dating for a little over a year and just learned to actually like directly deal with my problems instead of using something to mask them. And so now I'm in this weird place where I'm like, I actually don't know where that's taking me in terms of, sex and women and all that. So, yeah, I couldn't say. I guess right now I'm just like trying not to waste time with anything that I feel like is a dead end. Like, I think, not that there's any problem with quantity, but quality over quantity is definitely a big deal. I think that meaningless sex, although it can have a place, is frequently just like a way of not dealing with your dysregulated emotions.
Life motto. What is your life's motto?
I'm going to fall back to a Latin one. Memento mori. Remember death.